Right, hello. Hopefully people get a notification. Now, I remembered today to start streaming via Opera because it's amazingly sort of hard to remember to do that if you've been streaming for so long on Chrome. But I'm on Opera, so hopefully that means the comments won't start lagging out as the stream goes on. Also, a very big thank you. Let me check what their names were on the monetization tab, because I had 2 super chats at the end of last stream I didn't actually see during the stream because they showed up when I finished. It was Bob's Exus, who donated another $4.99, and Divan V, who donated $20. So another massive thank you to Divan V, because he donated earlier in the stream with $20 as well. So I just thought I'd say thanks to them now, because obviously I couldn't thank them during yesterday's stream because I'd already clicked end stream by the time the thing showed up as them giving donations. But hello, everybody. Has everybody watched the video so far on the Chinese mask? Because I've not been able to check comments just now, so I haven't been replying to them. I'll reply to them in a bit, but if I open up Chrome in another window, I'm not streaming on Chrome, I can actually see what the stats are for it. There was some riots, I think, was it in Bristol today, and the statue was pulled down. There was some, I think, a minor bit of rioting last night outside the House of Parliament, 10 Downing Street. Yeah, 549 people have watched that video so far. And there was what's it? I think some more stuff kicking off in Downing Street tonight, but I've not really been following it too much because I've been playing, the really good Command & Conquer remake. Yeah, it's always there in the background. It's just there's not so much clutter, you can't see it at the moment. I've got the lights on today rather than the UV light. Also, that's not powered on at the moment, if you're wondering why it's not lit up. That's cool. You got a free chemical suit with your mask. That's not bad at all. Thank you very much, AK47. I appreciate it. Yeah, there's some cool helmets behind me, as you can probably see, but I've done videos on a lot of my helmets. That's technically the best helmet, that one. Let's power on the, what's it? Set it to 24 volts. There we go. And then flick this on. There we go. And yeah, it is live. It's just doing its initial circuit check, I think. And then it should go back to working normally, I think, which is what it's doing now. Although the problem is, from the webcam, I doubt you can actually read the scale. Yeah. There you go, it's working really well today, so obviously a lot of the internals have sort of, I guess, dried out well now, and that's good. Cheers, Anthony. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. Right, Mike? Whose birthday is it? I missed. I've not seen the video, I've heard about it because I was listening to LBC. But personally, I think the facing and, vandalizing statues is a bad thing. Because if you've got a statue of somebody and they were a slave trader, you could look at that, couldn't you, and say, this cunt was a slave trader. Do you know what I mean? If the statue's pulled down. I don't really agree with statues being pulled down. Happy birthday to Isaac. Yeah, happy birthday to whenever anybody was. That's my opinion on things like that, because I think it's quite a dangerous precedent to set if you start ripping down historical artifacts. Like, even I think old Nazi shit, I think should be put in museums, so people can see it in a museum rather than it just being destroyed. But, that's... I kind of like that. I mean, I suppose, AJ, they've got to have some motivation to be able to drag a heavy statue that far down, but then, to me, that's just vandalism, really. That's why I prefer peaceful protests, not, smashing stuff up. I mean, it makes more sense than when a random store is looted, because that's, again, but anyway, hopefully, it would be nice today if we didn't want to talk too much about protests and vandalism and whatever else. Saying about stuff like that, though, I think the video I filmed for Wednesday next week is all about, like, protection you could wear if you were at a protest, and you're worried about stuff being thrown around. So it covers, like, properly built riot gear and stuff that would act as improvised riot gear. PMK2s, I think, are just 40mm Gost filters, aren't they? They don't actually have a PMK2. I don't mind really what people want to talk about. I've got that powered on again. I've got most of the lights on today. It'd be nice if it was just a mix of stuff. I've only just started drinking this, so I've I'm not pissed yet. So yeah, I completed the Nod campaign in Command and Conquer today. In the remaster. I think it was yesterday I finished the Soviet campaign last night, so I've just got the GDI and Allies campaign to finish now. And do a lot of the random maps. I've been playing a bit of skirmish against the AI. I just called it Sunday stream because it is a Sunday, and I actually had to check. I go, is it a Sunday again? What I did today was put up 2 sets of shelves and build the outside garden storage box. So basically, drilled into the walls, put the raw plugs in and all that. Had to get them level. In fact, that's the thing I don't like about putting up shelves, especially if they're corner shelves. Getting the bits level enough on each side that when you actually have drilled it in and all that, the shelf is level and not, slightly tilted. And that's why I was 5 minutes late coming on the stream or so, Mike, because I was watching the last cutscene in Command and Conquer. I just find them interesting, Unknown Russian. Not just gas masks. I find helmets interesting, radiological items interesting. I just find all this sort of, stuff around people making gear that was designed to protect people from deadly things or, and to inflict harm kind of interesting. Not that I, wish violence on anyone. I just find this stuff interesting, Because the GP5 is a really common mask, and there's one in the background all the time when I'm streaming, but it's not a very exciting mask to wear and talk about, in all honesty. Yeah, I know you can get like the level plane things, can't you? We've got one of those somewhere, but because this was a corner shelf, it's a lot more difficult because it's one of those shelves where if you glue the wooden support bits on before you put on the wall, you're going to have a really hard job of putting it up. But if you don't glue them on, they tend to keep tilting ever so slightly when you're doing it. I got it there in the end, but it wasn't as clean as what I wanted it to go on. But what was interesting is we had an old broken doorbell up there. Took the doorbell apart, managed to repair that, although it's not wired up anymore, obviously. And then I figured out I could wire it to a Geiger counter, and then instead of a Geiger counter ticking, it makes a doorbell ring every time it ticks, which gets annoying very quickly, but it might be worth doing that in a video just for shits and giggles. But because essentially all the doorbell does is it just has an electrical signal, go in. It's just like a piezo speaker in out with batteries in it that ring the bell. So if you have a Geiger counter, just send a click. All it is an electrical impulse to... I'm pretty sure, Luca, that's going to be Gost, not NATO, but I don't actually know. Oh, I love pizza, Anthony. Thank you very much, Luca Famtron. Where are you from with a name like that? And I don't mean to sound that like in a racist way of all the shit going on at the moment. I just meant it's an interesting name because it's quite nice when people say, "Oh, I'm originally from here" or whatever, or my family's from here. It's just interesting. But thank you very much. I appreciate it. But well, Noob Gamer, what I would want to do with all of this stuff is donate it probably to some museum, assuming that they wouldn't just put it in a back storage room, and nothing would come from it. Ah, so your grandfather's from Vietnam. Yeah, that would make sense. I was assuming it was some sort of East Asian name, but then I didn't want to sound like a dick and go, oh, is that Chinese or something? You know what I mean? All right, bots. But yeah, I'll probably do a video on it then at some point if people want to see a doorbell ringing every time a Geiger counter clicks. I put a radium dial next to the Geiger counter and it just got fucking annoying. It sounded like a jackhammer, just because it was making the doorbell ring so fast. In my spare time, I collect and research and do videos because my spare time is part of YouTube type stuff of just on all this military stuff. Yeah, glow in the dark. Speaking about CS, from what I understand, it's good in some ways if it's diluted with water, but it reacts with water, doesn't it? CS powder. That's kind of why it irritates the eyes. So I guess unless you've got enough water to wash it out properly, a little bit of water is only going to make it worse. Ah, that's weirdly. Right, can I do it? It's going to be hard to do it on camera, isn't it? Can I do it on the chair? And I need to have my heels on the actual chair like that. Now, you probably won't be able to see that very well, but that's not really a proper squat, is it? Because I'm trying to think, because I need to obviously be able to do it somewhere where there's enough room to, because obviously if I squat like this, I'm out of frame, aren't I? Right. There you go. I'm not going to do this for very long, but like, seeing as you donated. But what's that good expression? Isn't it something like heels in sky, western spy, heels on ground, comrade found, or something like that? Because apparently when people do it in like Russia and Poland and everything, their heels are always on the ground. I'll have to look into that eventually, glow in the dark. But at the moment, I'm just letting it grow out and then I'll start properly trimming it properly. But at the moment, I thought, kind of, because I don't want to do what I did before, try and trim it, fuck it up, and then end up shaving off the moustache. Depends, Henry, what goes on in the world, doesn't it? It might be completely worthless or it might be very valuable. I don't know which would be the better scenario. Um, what, like a vapor filter, mine buzz, or a combination filter? A lot of them will be still all right 20 odd years on, but there's no guarantee of how long it's going to be. Lorgar, isn't a Charlie Chaplin moustache very similar to a Hitler moustache, as in a pencil moustache? That's the kind of moustache I certainly would not want to have, just because the connotations of it. But yeah, for the people who haven't played it, the Command and Conquer remaster is really good. They didn't fix any of like the AI pathfinding that a lot of people are complaining about, but I think they said they tried to fix it and then realized it completely breaks the gameplay balance because the AI has been built around, how the kind of AI was buggy back in the day. Um, I think a house clearance person would have a lot of effort. But as I said, I'd if I was actually writing a will, I would like a lot of stuff just to go into museums, so as many people can see it as possible. But the issue is that with a lot of museums, I know that they end up having shitloads of stuff that just sits in the back room gathering dust. Most museums have a much bigger collection that's never on display than on display. It's on Steam and the EA thing. I'm not sure if it's on consoles as well, but I just bought it on Steam. It was like 17 quid or so for both Red Alert and the original Command and Conquer. And then I gifted one of my friends it yesterday because I was drinking and thought, oh, he might want to play online with me. I'll gift him a game. Somewhere glow in the dark, I do. Right, I know where it is. If you want to give me a minute, I can go get it, but I can't get it instantly. So I'll have to leave for about a minute, but I know where that is because the one behind me there is the modern Russian one, which is built a lot better. But I know where both my British helmets are. I think both the Mark One and the Mark Three. So the Argus one, I think, is the Mark One helmet, and I've got the Mark Three, and I kind of prefer the Mark One just because it fit me properly. When the Mark Three was one kind of like way too small, so I had to shave down the inside. If you want, I will go get it. Right, I'll be right back. Talk amongst yourselves. Right, I'm back. Sports Direct bag. That's the Mark III style helmet, which in theory is a better helmet. It's just this particular one was way too small, so I had to shave down loads of the size. Sides, get it to fit. But yeah, this is the one you're on about, isn't it? Ah, so fuck me. That's why one of my public order gloves went. Ah, both the public order gloves went. Good. I was looking for these the other day. I put them in my right helmet. Oh, there's also some other gloves in there. Right, so a glove's hidden in the right helmets as well. This is what happens when you have too much surplus. You don't know where it's bloody gone. But yes, this is the one you're on about. I think Glow in the Dark, wasn't it? I'm just waiting to see Glow in the Dark's comment now, but... yeah, because the problem is the liner in the British helmets is a bit shit. The issue of the British Riot helmets is if you look at the liner, it's just kind of a couple of bits of foam and mostly polystyrene type stuff. Whereas the Russian Riot helmet, I mean, look at the liner in this thing. It's like proper foam. You know, like mesh kind of fabric foam. That's cool. Glow in the dark. Yeah. So, anyway, the Russian Riot helmets are way better, but I know what you mean. This is the first Riot helmet I had, and it's stood up a lot of abuse I've given it over the years, but... the S10's on the shelf, so I won't get it right now. In theory, you could post one, Luca, because I've been doxxed. So if you look online, you can probably find all my details. But in all honesty, most of the time, I don't really accept stuff like that. Hello, Ghost Jesus, are you right? So yeah, this is the British one. I mean, that doesn't feel too good, does it? The fact you can compress it like that. This one did have the fabric kind of leathery bit at the back as well, but I took it off because it was velcroed on. Yeah, the only problem with this one is it's really got a scuffed up visor, so as you can probably see, you can't see very well for it, but that's because I've done so many tests with it, and obviously it was a second-hand helmet to begin with. Yeah, I can see what you mean. I mean, that's basically what riot shields are insulted. Not riot shields, riot helmets are. They are basically the shape of the helmets themselves are basically, you know, a bit like motorcycle crash helmets. They're built in the exact same way. It's just they have a bigger visor. Personally, I don't really want all the bother of having one unknown Russian. I'd like one, but I don't, you know. Does that make sense without going into lots of detail? My favourite World War II masks in terms of looks would probably be the Mark IV. In terms of effectiveness and also looking good would be the Finnish M39. See you, bots. What are the Star Wars snow shovel helmets then? Glow in the dark. Which one do you mean by that? Is that one of the other helmets? But yeah, the other British Riot helmet, this one is much better in terms of external build quality. But the issue was with this one, I had to take nearly all the padding out and shave the helmet down because as much as it was meant to be in my size, it definitely wasn't. So as you can see, this one has a much more big, you know, and concentrated visor. But again, it's still got the annoying British thing of just the foam is kind of just velcroed in rather than it being, you know, like properly constructed into the helmet. Ah, cool, that's cool, XX Arctic Sniper. But yeah, it is a really nice mask, isn't it? So its real name is Vastamali M39, which I probably butchered. This helmet's so tight, even though I've cut it to size, it's still a bloody pain in the ass to get on. Right, fuck it, I'm taking this foam neck ring out for now, just because it's making it too cramped. See, this is the problem with British right helmets. The liners are so kind of low quality inside that it ends up meaning that the helmet doesn't feel... Which model planes? The DP5, DP63, which one? Yeah, I said the Russians, like I said, the main thing I really like about this Russian one is just how good their liners are. You know, it's like all properly foam that's been made to fit the helmet. So, you know, like foam and fabric and all that. None of it is like Velcroed in stuff. It's all contoured to the helmet properly. Especially if you think Arctic Sniper, that was a civilian kind of mass-produced mask. Compare that to the quality of other World War II civilian masks. RKS, let me look that one up, planes. RKS Geiger counter. Oh, and the did like LCD ones. Oh, that's cool. If I don't know if you've seen, but what's his name's done a load of videos on things like that recently. Surviving the Apocalypse, NI Bunker. But yeah, they're the kind of commercial ones made after Chernobyl happened, and they're quite nice for what they are. But yeah, they're like if you want old style retro calculator antiques, you know. But yeah, out of all of these riot helmets, the Russian one by far is the most comfortable in terms of you know, just the liner being nice on the head. Okay, glow in the dark. I have to look up which helmet that actually is. Not really insulted, at least none of the ones I've got. All of these just have a bit of foam on the inside. They don't actually have like earmuffs built in, if that's what you mean. The visor on this one comes down to the very bottom of the chin. So I suppose actually if you have the helmet on like this, then yes, it does cover the entire head, but not the neck. On this particular British one, you can probably see it's got a bigger visor. So the visor on this one, when the visor's down, goes actually, you know, properly to the neck. As said, externally, this is my favourite riot helmet. The issue is I bought one that was way too small for me, even though it was in my size. It just wasn't the size it was meant to be. But this the Russian one I've got on at the moment is the best in terms of, you know, being brand new, never issued, really comfortable. I'll do it on the stream tomorrow, Noob Gamer, but my XM28 is in a cupboard at the very opposite side of the house, so it's going to take me a while if I walk to that other side of the house to get it. Ah, that's a good point, Justin Vapor. I never really thought about that, but yeah, very good point. Thank you. But yeah, the main thing I was on about was just saying that, you know, if you bought a motorcycle crash helmet, it would give you very good protection. And I think what a lot of people mean is just the general shape of the helmets. If you took the visor and the neck bit off, are just kind of like moped, you know, motorcycle helmets. This particular one, B-Store sent me for free, and he wanted me to smash it up. And I said, Piotr, as much as you might want me to smash this up for a video, it's a really nice bloody helmet, and I don't want to smash it up as it's brand new. I said, can I just do a video talking about it? And he said, oh, I suppose. You know. The other riot helmets were about £30–40, the British ones. But yeah. But yeah, if somebody sends me a really nice helmet like this and they want me to smash it up on a video to test it, I'm kind of like, seems a waste, you know. But I think he sells these for like 60-odd quid. The nice thing with these, though, is that they're not second-hand ones that are already scratched and beat up. They're basically brand new from the factory. Because, you know, obviously corruption in a lot of countries. Shit gets sold that's not really surplus. Or surplus is, you know, 1-year-old stock. Basically Unknown Russian, it was because I bought loads of stuff from him over the years on eBay. And eventually he realised whenever a certain eBay account bought an item, I'd be doing a video on it. So then he sent me some free stuff when I bought one of the things from him at one point, and like a nice letter saying, you know, it's nice because people find out about the history of Poland through your videos. So he sent me a lot of free stuff over the years, and I bought a lot of stuff from him. And recently I did buy those 2 Geigers from him because I think it was stuff he wasn't really that interested in sending me. But I really wanted them, so I just thought, fuck it, I'm buying them from you, you know. This is not tea, this is rum. That's all right, Luca, thank you, but I've already got MUA and the, you know, on 14 style masks. No, sadly, Briggs, I don't have any Spetsnaz helmets. I smell, what do I smell of? But thank you, Donald Trump. I'm sure that's very mature of you. Mackenzie, they are literally umbrella valves. But I don't have a spare set to replace them with to actually, you know, do a video on it. All right, Ultrix? Yeah, I know, Luca. There's the ones, later plastic ones, aren't there? I mean, at some point, I'm sure I'll get all the variants, but there's not actually been that many on this stream, in all honesty, Insulted. What's more alcoholic than British than you thought, Arctic? I've mostly started drinking a lot more since all the lockdown stuff started because I'm bored. But I didn't start drinking until when I started the stream today, you know. So it's not like I said, oh, it's 1 p.m. Let's have a drink. I waited till the evening, and I'm not going to you know, I'm not going to go to stupid amounts because I've got a glass, you know, so I can measure how much I'm drinking. But let me double check that for you, Bolding Towski, because I don't think when I did the review I mentioned that, did I? So I'll show you what it looks like on the webcam, if as best I can, you know, because that's never going to be perfect on the webcam. And then let me tell you my impression of looking down. The problem is with dual filters, it means you can't turn your head very much. Yeah, looking down isn't too bad. I can see to where my groin is, sitting down in the chair. Actually, low bit the shirt if it's right against me. So yeah, not bad at all. It's not the best mask for looking down, but it's certainly not bad. If I had a blanking plug for it, it'd be even better because you'd be able to tilt it to one side. But yeah, these Chinese masks are very good. You know, I'm glad China's finally making good masks, or at least putting good straps on masks. Because the weird thing with China's been for a while, they made some really good masks in terms of face piece designs, but then they put shit straps on them that made the masks useless. Depends on the NBC threat, Jonas. Basically, if you mean masks like this, the rubbers on them won't be designed to stand up to things like mustard gas for a long amount of time. So basically, things like chlorine gas they'd be fine against. But the issue is things like mustard and blister agents would chew through this rubber eventually, because they're designed for just, you know, commonly encountered industrial chemicals, not warfare chemicals. But with a filter like this on one of these, it would certainly protect you from pretty much any particle threat, whether that be biological or nuclear. And it would protect you from a good, you know, combination of chemicals, just not as many as a good quality military mask. But in all honesty, if somebody said to me, you could buy one of these brand new right now, like I did with this one, for £30, or get a 20-odd-year-old surplus mask, I'd still have a bit more trust in something like this, in all honesty. Yeah, the French ARFA has a very good panoramic lens. The issue is that the mask's build quality in general isn't very good, which is why I like the Polish MP5, because it's just a better version of the same mask, you know. Yeah, that particular mask, I would agree, does look like a kind of rip-off of the Avon C50 M50 style design. I mean, the thing is with China is, yes, they rip stuff off. That's basically how China rolls. But when China rips off stuff and sells it for a decent price, I don't mind. Yeah, I don't blame you, Glow in the Dark. That's the thing, is if people are collecting it just because they like the history of the items, that's completely one thing, isn't it? It's more when I think it gets the connotations of the people collecting it a bit because they're, you know, like, oh, I love the Soviet Union, I love Nazi Germany, you know, shit like that, where, you know, the ideologies can be abhorrent, but some of them tech is really cool. Yes, insulted I would. I mean, that one Hype sent me for free, but it is a really cool mask. All right, Tactical. One of my favourite helmets, glow in the dark, for the weird sort of shape, is the Swiss helmets. The Swiss M18 helmets. Now, this one's the civil defence one, made out of aluminium, not steel. But still, it's, you know, the actual shape of this I think is really cool. It reminds me a lot of Star Wars. It's the M2F Serbian mask. I don't think it's particularly rare, but I don't think it's all that common. As in, you know, you don't see loads and loads and loads of them get sold. But these helmets are brilliant in terms of, you know, bright yellow civil defence equipment style helmets. Depends which model of Swiss helmet. The regular M18s, not this one. Yes, to a degree, because they're manganese steel. This is just aluminium. Civil defence version, because it was just designed as a very cheap, you know, lightweight helmet to protect people from flying debris. Oh, glow in the dark, yes. Don't give me something new to start collecting. Geiger counters is a fucking bad thing to get into, although that's actually an ionisation chamber. But, you know, when you start going, oh, £100 for one of those, that's nice. I was actually quite lucky this morning because I meant to be saving my money. And I put a bid on a Geiger counter, which was a really weird, unique design. But then luckily, I was still asleep when the bid ended and somebody outbid me. So I wasn't able to go, oh, I'm going to spend £100 on this. But it was a really weird thing. It was a West German Geiger counter that was actually kind of like a weird dildo probe thing. And the idea was that you had your battery compartment or your electronics, and you had your Geiger Muller tube. And it was just like a stick, basically, you know, like a baton dildo vibrator thing. And then you had your headphones plug into it, so you just listen to it click or the alarm go off, and you put different, like, wand attachments on for different radiation levels. There's literally a video on YouTube where some of your reviews ones, and they go, what does this remind you of? Because let me tell you what the thing was. Like I said, I didn't win the bid on it, but that might have been for the best because, you know, I meant to be saving that money. All right, Gretchen. Let me see what the name of it was. It was called. They gave it the kind of German. I think it might have been something like it's ANPDR 20. It was called. But it's not the standard US ANPDR. This is what makes it confusing. It's let me get you a picture of it up. Hang on. At some point, there might be more that turn up on eBay, but basically what it is if I can get this new tab open with an image. Thank you again, Luca. I just find it interesting. My granddad served in the British Army during World War II, and so did, you know, a few of my other great uncles and things like that. You know, and some of my parents' generation in my family, but not my dad, were, you know, British Army or similar things. So, a lot of my family have done military service type things, you know, so I just find a lot of this stuff interesting, even though I'm not medically fit to serve myself. But yeah, so if you have a look at that, what does that remind you of? Bear in mind, there's a bit more to it you can't see there, which makes it even longer. It's literally, like, yeah, I said in the video on this one, those are GOS filters on that one. I know about the S8 mask, but I don't have one, Mackenzie, if that's what you're asking about. If you look S8 respirator. No, let me Google it, Guero. I have not heard of that. Especially because a lot of the characters in it aren't English. Is that a Yoda mask? There's loads of different things coming up. I don't know which thing I'm meant to be looking up. There's one that's the prototype PMK with the cheek filters. And there's a couple of other masks coming up, so I don't know which one it was. If it was stored properly, Beagle, probably. But I'd want a new filter for it. That's annoying. 403 forbidden. Right, let me just tell you what to Google to see pictures of it. Type in this into Google Images and you'll see pictures of it. ANPDR20. And it's a weird kind of probe assembly wand vibrator looking thing that West Germany used at one point. I think it was literally quite a boring unit in the sense of what it did. I think it was each probe had a different threshold. You put a probe on it and then it would send a shrill alarm into the earpiece if the radiation level was high enough. I'd say definitely for £12 unsalted. Bob Exer says, yo, let me simp for you real quick, please. I appreciate it. Also, thank you for the donation. I said at the start of this stream, thank you for the one you did at the end of last stream I didn't catch. But, yeah, you and another guy donated right at the end and I didn't catch it, but thank you. I wish I could show the SLR on stream, glow in the dark, but I can't. But I've got the cap. When I saw one these for sale on eBay, I was like, yes, I have to get this cap. I'm pretty sure it's ANPDR20, but it's a weird old radiation detector that looks like a vibrator. I think the images, the problem is that you need to put the spaces in. Yeah, do it as AN space PDR space 20, and then you'll get the pictures of it come up. Apparently Belgium used them as well. Let me see if I can link to this image. Hang on. Or link to this page. But this is what they look like. But yeah, if you look at that, now if that link works, that's what it is. You know, it's a bit of a suspicious looking thing, but it was a weird like probe radiation detector. But yeah, I forgot to bid on it because I was asleep. I've never seen Polar Express. I don't think you can get one, Bob, because you're behind a monitor, but I appreciate it anyway. Mike was in the chat earlier, Tactical. I think he's doing better, but obviously he's waiting for all his stomach to heal up properly before he starts doing videos again. The furnace isn't in this room, so I can't get out easily. What, as in the M60 machine gun, or do you mean something else? There might be demand for it, Unknown Russian, I don't know, but I don't really want to sort of start manufacturing something like that. It might be a bit of a biohazard. Yeah, my furnace came with an FP5 filter. The TF1, though, isn't actually the same rubber, James, as the GP5 Shum 62 series. I'd say it would withstand it for a bit. How long, I don't know. What, where you had to cock the... Well, I suppose if it's in 22LR, it can be semi-auto, can't it? But yeah. The weird thing is all the guns that have to be in, like, you know, essentially bolt action only. Let me look at both types, Hiku, and see which one I think looks cooler. I know which they both are vaguely, but I don't know what they are in terms of, you know, compared to each other. So, Leadership's Mask and Gummimaske. I mean, they're pretty similar looking, aren't they? But I mean, the Gummy Masker one's the one with like the honeycomb looking eyepieces, isn't it? Which is kind of cool. I've been to Corfe Castle, Dover Castle, Warwick Castle, quite a lot of castles. In the UK, there's a lot of castles. Because thankfully, a lot of them weren't blown up or destroyed, you know. By the way, if anyone visits the UK, visiting a lot of the old still standing castles is something I'd recommend. But I've also visited a lot of castles. I can't even fucking remember which ones they were. But Warwick Castle's a really good one to visit, actually, in terms of how much of it has been restored, you know. I'm afraid Rhombus, I can't really easily get an M60 being in the UK. Let me search that one, RWA 72M radiation meter. Which one's that? Oh, is that the massive East German thing? Yeah, but the East German one's even bigger, isn't it? I mean, I'd love an East German radiation meter like that. But yeah, that's the one where you twist all the little bits, isn't it, to get like a table of how much exposure you're getting. The East German one literally looks like an anti-tank weapon attached to a box. Yeah, I'd love to get one of those East German ones. Right, Jack's grandma. I don't know if you can see it. Without me dropping it, because I've already been drinking and breaking it. You mean one of these? Right. If I pop it here and then move the chair, can I get it in frame? Yeah, there we go. Right, so let's get a bright torch or a UV torch. To be honest, UV torches aren't as good with it as the regular torches are. Hang on, I should have a bright one somewhere handy. I've tidied a lot of stuff up, so I can't remember where I've put all of it. Let me check the drawer. Here's a torch, but I don't think I've got a bulb in it. No, I haven't. That's annoying, because an IR torch would make it spin. Annoyingly, I'm not sure where my really bright flashlight is, because if I found that one... there's one over there that's not my brightest flashlight, but this is still fairly bright. So this one's a good example. So yeah, watch this. I'll concentrate the beam a bit more. They're cool, aren't they? Spinning pretty fast now. The half face masks they had, Noob Gamer. One of those two masks. PY60M and the P2 or the Y2K, basically. I wish there was a place on here I could put this one out, actually. It's going to be safe enough there, isn't it? Yeah. You just don't grind them for very long. That sounds good, bots. But yeah, basically, if you're sharpening a knife, don't put it on the thing for very long, because basically the main way of ruining heat temperament is if you grind it for too long and it heats up too much. So if you slowly sharpen them, or sharpen them for a bit, stop, sharpen them for a bit, stop, you're not going to ruin the heat temperament too much. But bear in mind, AK bayonets are kind of just like a stainless steel type thing, aren't they? So it's quite hard to damage stainless steel. Y2K is simple and cool. No, I don't have any. The closest thing I beagle to a redcoat uniform type thing I have is the Piff helmet, which is one of the boxes behind me, and the Martini Henry rifle. But I don't actually have like redcoat type stuff as much as you know, some colonial type oppression type stuff. You know, how much it triggers certain people is kind of funny. I'm good, thank you, Lucio. You? I don't actually know, James, because all the UK ones are measured in terms of head centimetre size. And then you always need a bigger size than what they actually advertise. So I don't actually know with that sizing system how big that would be. No, I don't have whatever that is. Yep, there's a video on it, Beagle. Unfortunately, it has got a bit of damage to the barrel, so whether or not it'd be safe to shoot, I don't know. I've got a Schmitz Rubin as well. And again, sadly, I can't show these on streams because of YouTube's weird policy towards firearms. But yeah, the weird thing about the UK is if you buy a gun that's an antique gun, they're not classed under all the gun laws. So Martini Henrys, really old bolt-action rifles don't get classed as guns. Anyone can buy them. Only medal I've got is an Iron Cross my granddad found in World War II when a load of Germans deserted and they took their medals from like the deserters' uniforms. And the Chernobyl medal, but I bought that just kind of to show it. But I don't have any medals, obviously, because I don't really collect them, because obviously I've never done any service, so I kind of find it a weird thing to do. Some naval guns might be okay, Zinkman. I don't actually know. The laws are weird. £50, Coco Stewart, depending on condition. Does it come with a bag? What filter does it come with? No, mine's an original one. I think if you've got a reboard Schmidt Rubin, it wouldn't be classed as an antique because it's no longer the lower pressure old barrel. Because like Swiss K31 rifles, whatever they're called, aren't antique rifles in the UK. Only the older Schmidt Rubins are. I'm using Opera today, so there shouldn't be any delay. If people want to, post the time in the chat. So if I post this comment, for me it is currently 1956. But if other people want to post that, what time is it? No, we're not lagging. That's good. Thank you, Gretchen. Briggs, no, because the G11 is still too modern. 100 years on, it might be an obsolete caliber, but in the UK, it wouldn't be classed as that at the moment. Good, so where I'm using Opera, it isn't lagging then, it's just probably at the other person's end. I've not really got any modern Draeger masks here, Asmu, but they look quite good. But I've only really got the old Draeger, like World War II masks and things like the M65. They look good, but I just don't really think they're worth paying like loads and loads of money for. Which one's the Polish MC5? I know which one the MC3 is, or CM3, whichever one it is. No, it's the Polish MC1, isn't it? The really old one. It's the Czech CM3. Which one's the MC5? I don't even recognise that one. Yeah, Draeger half face masks with proper particle filters on would be very practical. No, it's because somebody else brought it up, Hiku. That was the only reason. But I'll be off in a few minutes, and guess what? I'll be playing more Command and Conquer. I'm going to sell one of my spare S10s to a guy who asked for it ages ago. But for the most part, not really. But just, yeah, one of the S10s I'm selling just because I've got two S10s, and one of the people asked me very nicely, who's been, you know, subscribed for ages, and I know he's a decent bloke, you know, who just really wants an S10 but lives in a country where he can't find one. Let me search MC5. I still don't recognise what mask that is, unless I'm being really dumb. MC5 Polish gas mask. Do you mean the MP5? If you mean the MP5 is very good as long as it's not deteriorated with age. Yeah, I love Dawn of War. Dawn of War has great fucking quotes, doesn't it? The soundtrack's good as well. It's Jeremy Soule did the soundtrack to the original one, and I think In On Zer with some of the sequels. But yeah, a mind is like a fortress with its... Oh, it's an open mind is like a fortress with its gates unbarred and unguarded. But yeah, I know which mask you mean now, Razor. But yeah, Dawn of War, I love the unit quotes in Dawn of War when you click on them. After 1,000 battles, one only sees death. What about the Battle of Rorke's Drift? Gun beats spear. Walk softly and carry a big gun, says Briggs. Yeah, I love Half-Life. I think Half-Life 2 was one of the games that really got me into gas masks when I was younger. I actually prefer Tiberian Dawn, as in the old one that they've just remastered, Dagoff. But yeah, all the Command & Conquers are good except for the very modern ones that, you know, EA had already killed Westwood at that point. Orcs, 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 orcs. I'm quoting Briggs there, but yeah. Yeah, Dawn of War is great. My faith is my shield, my fury is my sword. June 2000 is brilliant, Tactical has said. I'm hoping somebody's going to remaster that to run on the new Command & Conquer engine soon. Yeah, Generals is excellent as well. But yeah, every Westwood game is kind of good. Yeah, the French made that mask in both black and yellow. But yeah, lots of French masks get sold as Polish MP5s, and they're not actually as good. What you want to do is look at the voice diaphragm. That's the easiest way of telling the difference. Polish MP5 has like a circular voice diaphragm. The French one has like a dot voice diaphragm. So the Polish one looks like a circle, and then another circle and a circle, you know, going smaller and smaller and smaller. The French one's like lots of dots, a bit like what the Soviet voice diaphragms look like those. That's apparently the easiest way to tell difference. There's other little differences on them as well, but I haven't seen Zulu though in ages, Beagle, but I ought to watch it again, you know, because of the Martini Henry. The fact I've got a Martini Henry now, you know, that kind of makes me want to rewatch Zulu. Was it John Barry that did the soundtrack to Zulu? I've got the music playing in my head now, you know. Alright, see you, Gretchen. Hope you have a nice day. But yeah. There's lots of really old movies like Zulu that's great. Zulu Dawn's meant to be quite good as well, and I can't remember if I've ever watched Zulu Dawn. The remake of that is actually quite a good remake as well. You on about the black and white old one, Dagoff, or the colour remake? But both of those are quite good. I'm not sure. I would love Webley, but I'm not sure if you can own them. Anyway, that will do it for this stream. Thank you very much. Again, a massive thank you to anybody that donated, either on the end of yesterday's stream, and I didn't manage to thank them, or on today's stream. I still need to get around to filming one of the videos for later and next week that I was going to do today, and then I ended up doing a load of DIY jobs today and not getting, you know, it done, but at least those DIY jobs are done. But yeah, everybody stay safe, and everything. And I'm going to play some more Command & Conquer and drink some more rum and see if I can still somehow manage to play it even more drunk, which so far I have been able to do yesterday evening. So, maybe it's just muscle memory from all those years of playing the old grainy CNCs. But yeah, good evening, everybody. See you all. Goodbye.